Hello folks, DH Games have decided to nerf a bunch of things in Idle Heroes today, and that is terrifying. Some of the nerfs are actually really good for us, others are terrible, and especially if you're a spender, because what they've nerfed actually hugely negatively affects people that chose one particular thing at Black Friday. The Auspicious Lucky Cat has been changed. This is terrifying. So let's get straight in, let's talk about this, because this is gonna upset and ruffle a lot of feathers in the community, that's for sure. So the first thing we need to talk about is Auspicious Lucky Cat. This has been pretty heavily nerfed by changing one tiny part about its mechanic. Auspicious Lucky Cat still gives control immunity, still gives HP, still gives all damage reduction. And it still gives you the fortune and prosperity, which will grant you ingots to yourself and to allies, and the ingots still do exactly the same thing. The gold ingots are giving us all damage dealt, up to 30 times, and the silver ingots are giving us a reduction in the damage we receive that scales with our attack. Still completely the same artifact in that regard. However, the way you gain ingots has changed. It says, when you release a Bisk attack, or active skill. Yes, a Bisk. They can't even type it properly, which is even more of an insult. That should say basic. It used to be at the start of the fight or at the end of each round. Now the fact that it is something that triggers off basic attacks and active skills means that you can counter the Auspicious Lucky Cat by crowd controlling a hero. Also, it means if your heroes are slower, they're receiving 1 turns less of buffs, which is hugely important. In things like Seal Land and Void Campaign, it's going to put you a round behind on your buffs, and the immediate protection that you could gain from these silver ingots isn't there, and the additional damage you could gain from the gold ingots isn't there. So a lot of the potential power that Auspicious Lucky Cat could have early on is now removed. This all in all just makes the artifact significantly weaker. Now, if people were planning on using this in something like Star Expedition, where you just passively gain those buffs out to your allies, you can no longer do that, because the boss in Star Expedition also has the ability to crowd control you. And of course, getting crowd controlled means you're not going to do basics or actives, which means you're not going to be giving those buffs to your allies. So all in all, Auspicious Lucky Cat went from being a really strong, super incredible artifact to something that's now just kind of meh, because you have to trigger it off active skills and basic attacks. Now, does this mean the artifact is completely redundant and dead? No, it's still a pretty solid artifact, and it's very usable, but it is no longer the insane artifact that we were hoping it was going to be, which means people who picked it up during Black Friday have been screwed. During Black Friday, there was a part of the event which meant that you could spend money to either choose between an artifact chest or 2,500 prismed starry gems. Now, I recommended in my video about that to go for the starry gems, because eventually you'll pick up those artifacts. But there are some people in the community who are spenders that felt it was only right that they picked up Auspicious Lucky Cats early so that they could test them for the greater good of their guilds. Well, unfortunately, these people have now been screwed, because they sacrificed a chance to pick up 7,500 starry gems and instead chose to get Auspicious Lucky Cat. So what that means is they have basically been screwed, because the nerf to Cat means the artifact that they picked up was not what they've received, because it's now been changed, and there is no way of them going back and getting those starry gems. So what we would need is for DH Games to either give us an artifact swap event, or at least for those people that did pick that up, be allowed to cash in that artifact to get 2,500 prism starry gems as an apology, because it is a massive screw for these people to lose those potential rewards and end up with an artifact that was not what it originally was printed. Now, you might think, why can DH Games get away with something like this? Well, DH Games owns all assets in the game, and they have the right to change anything at will. It's just unfortunate that if you've invested in this, that you do end up feeling a bit left out and a bit screwed over. And unfortunately, there's nothing that you have within your rights as a player of this game to actually do anything about it. So hopefully we get some goodwill gesture in upcoming events. Maybe DH Games will send us out an apology or give us some kind of compensation, but the likelihood of that is pretty slim. What has changed, though, which was much needed, is Auspicious Lucky Cat now shows you the buffs that you receive on your heroes. So if you look at Eloise, there is now a symbol which shows you each time you get an ingot. So you see there are now gold ingots all over my heroes for those that they picked up, and now there's a symbol for silver ingots as well. So being able to see that you've been affected by these buffs is really helpful. It not only shows you that your opponent is running Auspicious Lucky Cat, it also lets you see where your buffs are headed. Now, you can't see quite as many of the buffs that have gone out, there's no number that tells you, but at least when you're doing fights, you can see that you have gained these benefits. Now, what I've noticed is my Eloise is not as strong as she used to be in fights, and this is generally due to the fact that she's always a turn behind on her buffs, so she doesn't quite have as many silver or gold ingots as I'd like. She's still really strong though, and is still performing great, so no complaints there. But if I was to fight in something like Seal Land, I would feel a noticeable dip because Seal Land can twine us. And in that regard, that's a terrible thing because it means we can't attack, and it means we'll take significantly more damage. So in game modes like Seal Land, where you're really on a dance with just how far you can push, losing that little bit of protection and that little bit of damage can be the difference between winning and losing. So unfortunately, it does mean that I'm probably going to be stuck pushing with my Eloise on the Turbo series, especially when it comes to Seal Land. But that's just life. Now, that's not the only change we've seen this week. If you go ahead and look at the achievements, they've added some more things here. So if you've gone and made progress in the nightmare stages of the Tower of Dream, then that's fantastic. You're able to get yourself more progress here for getting far in the depths. And as well, if you've gone ahead and beaten Overseer in the Void Vortex, you get some rewards for that. As well, for clearing all the stages in Chapter 5 of Void Campaign, you get yourself some Spiritual Essence. Now, it's a bit annoying. I really wish DH Games were giving us better rewards for Void Campaign, because really, if you can clear Chapter 5, you don't need this Spiritual Essence. You're already walking around with a bunch of Tree of Origin 5 heroes or stronger. It would have been better if they were giving us something like maybe just 500,000 Stellar. Give us something, a significant reward where you feel like, yes, I've done well. Just think, when you get halfway through the Void campaign, through Chapter 2, you get yourself a whole core as rewards. Why can't we get something similar like that for beating Chapter 5? Why can't we be getting things like Sublimation and Cores of Origin? Because that will not only help people to make progress in Void campaign further, it also makes them feel like they're getting rewarded for doing so. 50,000 Spiritual Essence is really measly, and is a drop in the ocean of how many you need. Not to mention the Glory Challenge already gives you millions, so what's another 50,000? It's a bit of a shame. I wish they would have done a better reward here. Heck, if they'd have just given us maybe some Destiny stuff, it would have incentivized people even more. Like, it's not difficult to give us, let's just say, 5 Aurora Gems for doing Chapter 5, and then maybe for Chapter 4 you give us 200,000 Spirit Vein Shards. That can at least help people pick up Destiny heroes so they feel like they're making progress. They've already given us Destiny rewards for beating the bosses, for example. Doing these bosses allows you to get those rewards picked up, so that's fantastic. We will be seeing a boss for Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 eventually, but actually just having something for clearing those chapters as well would have been nice. That would have helped us improve our team. It is a shame then that we're just picking up Spiritual Essence, and you can see for doing Chapter 6, it's just more of the same. Disappointing rewards. DH Games could have done better. So what here then is positive? Well, let me show you. Chapter 6 in Void Campaign has been significantly difficult. If you look at this wave here, this is 3 Valkyries, 3 Flame Strikes. This is the classic wave that a lot of people get stuck on. I was 162nd or something like that, or 132nd, and now I'm 249th. Well, what does that mean? It means loads of people have been making progress in Chapter 6, and that's because they've nerfed the HP of these heroes, which means they are easier to kill. So we've got ourselves a little team here with my Asmodel the Dauntless as our main damage dealer, rocking 19 million attack, and we're going to go make sure that all the heroes are correctly equipped, and we're going to go send this guy in. I think 19 million is quite low for him, so I'm just going to go make sure there aren't other ways we can buff him. I think there are. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this Amun-Ra, I'm going to take off some of her equipment, and I'm going to go ahead and put all these imprints that we're removing onto Tussalago and Asmodel so that we get some better boosts for Asmodel the Dauntless. So we've gone ahead and got ourselves Tussalago to Void 3. We've done the same here with Asmodel, and that's going to boost them, so we now have Asmodel the Dauntless with 20 million attack. So let's go ahead, send this guy in to campaign. The rest of the lineup is pretty standard. We've got Halora here. She's going to be rocking a Demon Bell. We've got Alamak here with a Demon Bell, and we've got Vesa with a Demon Bell as well. We've got Mystic Fairy Freya with a Demon Bell, and finally we're going to be using Phantom Defier Elena. I might as well give her a Demon Bell as well. We could switch in crowns as needed. We can run Betty if we need crowd control, but this wave is Valkyries, so we don't want to be crowd controlling them. Also, for the same reason, that's why we're not using Aspen, but we can put Aspen in a separate fight if we need to use him. But Asmodel is typically better with dealing with these large groups of opponents. So let's go ahead and give this team a try. Instead of using Star Alchemist Holmes Young, though, we're going to be using Vesa. Let's see how this goes. For our cores, we probably want to be running something that's going to give us a good amount of healing. Let's go with Elena's core. I really like that. It's good for making progress. So let's go ahead and see what happens. So people have said that Chapter 6 is easier. Let's go see if they're correct. Right, Unbending Will has been triggered on our Asmodel here. So that's going to tank a few hits. There you go. He's going to get an active skill now. How much damage is that going to do? Wow! Bro just nuked the entire wave. Oh, that is absolutely nuts. We did, unfortunately, end up losing Asmodel there. But yeah, I think we're going to be able to beat that just fine. Let me double check Asmodel has block on his bonus imprints, just so we're getting shields from this. He's got crit damage, precision, and block. Yep, that's good. I'm pretty sure everyone else is built similarly. Yes, they are. So let's go try that one again. It just comes down to Valkyrie hitting Asmodel, because unfortunately, if Unbending Will triggers too soon, we do get messed up. So as long as we high roll the Valkyrie strikes, we should be okay here. I think they may have improved the damage on these guys as well, so that's a little something to worry about. But either way, we're looking pretty good. Getting some decent damage out there. Yep, Asmo's getting those basics from the Flame Strikes. Wow, Flame Strike really is hitting harder. And that was not as good of a hit, but we're still going to be fine here. There you go. Hitting out those strikes now. As long as Asmo can tank, though, we should be fine. There you go. As long as he doesn't get hit by that next Valkyrie. Oh, he did? Yo, he still managed to tank, though. So, is he going to get an active here? Let's see. Yes, he does. And absolutely annihilates the wave. Oh my word. 638 billion damage. Really nicely done there, buddy. Let's go ahead and fight Gustin, Fiona, Ignis. We got Amon-Ra here as well. That's not fun. Let's see how this one plays out. But it's great to see we've made progress here. Clearing that wave is really, really solid. So yeah, they've definitely made this easier for us. Oh my word. Asmo getting shrunk there. That's not pleasant. He gets an active off though, so that's fine. They do feel a lot stronger, the opponents, but their health is less. So as long as we can just wreck them, we should be fine here. Might be worth bringing in Betty, just for the crowd control effects, like against this wave, which should be okay. That said though, I think we've got enough survival now that we're dealing with these guys completely fine. Yeah, that's a lot of damage coming out there. What's funny as well is we're not running crowns on any of our heroes right now. So this is all energy feed. Asmo's also wearing Taboo Seal, funnily enough, which is an artifact which I've talked about before. It's an incredible artifact for dealing with Valkyries. Although we've already dealt with Valkyries, so I can probably switch it. But it's really nice. It gives you damage against Ranger and skill damage. But of course, I don't need that anymore, so I'm going to be giving him the Gilded Purple Fan, just so he gains some all damage dealt, and he's going to get some extra protection here as well. I think it's worth probably slapping that onto Alamak as well. I'm running a whole lineup that's pretty much focused on staying alive. That said, though, as many active skills as I do is really good, because the energy feed from the Demon Bells obviously means we're going to have so much survival. So I think I'm going to stick with the Gilded Purple Fan on Asmodel for now. Keeping him alive is really important. Even if the rest of the team's dead, he gains so many buffs that he should wreck. I am a bit scared of this wave, though. That's King Barton. So this definitely tells me we're going to be needing to use Betty here. So what I'll do is I'll put the Elusive Mirror onto Betty. That's probably our best choice here. And we'll just go ahead and send in the lineup with Betty instead of one of these heroes. Now, King Bartons can stun, so I think our best choice is either to get rid of Vesa, or maybe it's to get rid of Alamak. Depends what we're looking for here. I think it's going to be Vesa. I think Vesa's our last link, and that means we're going to be using Betty's core. And I'll put Betty in slot 1 just to increase our chance of getting hit, and yeah, everything else looks pretty fine. Let's go see how this plays out. I'm expecting that we crowd control the King Bartons pretty quick here. Yep, already getting amazing crowd control out there. There's some energy feed for the lineup. That's really good. There goes Alamak. And oh my word, we are getting wrecked by Cthulhu's damage over time. Oh no, the stun on Asmo is really bad. Okay, that was unfortunate. As long as I don't get CC'd, though, I think Asmo cleans up that whole wave with a single active skill. So we just have to be mindful. So we got to get that really good crowd control off from Betty. That's step 1. The fact she's stunned right now is really bad. Ideally, Elena can break us free. There's Asmo's active. Really good. Killing 2 of the King Bartons here. Super clutch. There's another active. Oh, he's so good. I love Asmo. Ah, it's beautiful. Right, let's go in again. Betty's going to do the same thing. Stun the opponent. And then Asmo should be able to clean up. And yeah, Gilded Purple Fan definitely seems like the right call here. They are dealing a lot of damage to us, though, so we might need to switch to some Golden Crowns or something to give us protection. But we are looking fine here. Loads of CC coming there from Betty. Great active skill from Asmodel to start off. And when he triggers again, that's going to be his Divine Power that's going to basically drop the opponents, I'm imagining. Those Destiny powers are going to trigger, because it triggers, I think, on every other active skill for Asmo here. So Halora's going to do an active. That's going to put the Abyssal Corruption on these opponents. As long as I don't get dubbed on Asmo. No, we didn't. Good. Elena keeping us alive here. So Halora goes, then Asmo is going to clean up, I think. Come on. Asmo's also been slowed down by the HomeXJUMP, so that's interesting. But he's definitely alive. Freya does an active, Halora does an active, and then, yep, Asmo wipes the entire wave. What a Giga Chad. Absolutely beautiful. Finally, my S tier is able to do something beautiful. Okay, this is a horrible wave. 4 HomeXJUMPs. I might need Aspen for this. But I think Betty's crowd control will just be enough. I just need them to hit Betty so that she triggers. That would be nice. Or she's just going to trigger from Energy Feed. We'll see. Yeah, no one's touched Betty. That's absolutely mad. There we go. They finally touched Betty. And there we go. Hopefully she gets an active skill and Bending Will's holding up. There's Halora. There's Asmodel. Now Betty will go again. I think we're completely fine now. Yeah, as long as we keep them CC'd. Okay, in that case, we need them to hit Asmodel a lot so that he gets an active here. I am worried he will die. He probably is going to. There's a lot of HomeXJUMPs joining in. Yeah, this seems like one of these fights where we are going to try multiple times. And hopefully we can crack it. So come on. Just hit Betty. That's all I need them to do. Give us an early CC from Betty. They're all just throwing in. There we go. Betty triggers. That's 3 of the HomeXJUMP CC. That's actually really nice. That's good. So there's Freya. There's Halora. Asmo does an active. That's good. So now we just need to get some energy feed off again. Betty's got another active skill. More crowd control coming in. That's really, really helpful. So, yeah, with enough of them CC'd here, we should be fine. Halora's got another active, so does Freya. That's going to energy feed and trigger Betty. Betty just triggers now anyway, so that's really helpful. And there's more energy feed coming out. Asmo should wreck now. Yep, there you go. Half the team's dead. The crowd control there from Betty is fantastic. More crowd control coming out there too. There's Phoenix. And, yeah, we've got some Horrify off there from Elena, which is really helpful. And there you go. Energy feed back into Asmodel. And he wipes the wave one more time. Really, really nice. Betty doing really, really good here. Let's see if we can keep this up and beat the whole of Chapter 6-1. That'd be really good. So this next fight, there you go. That's going to be more crowd control coming out here. Good to see. Stun on the Tara as well. Really nicely done there by Ailamak. Freya and Halora triggering. Asmo does his first active skill, which is his weakest of the 2. Second active will be much stronger. Also, the fact we're crowd controlling opponents means they're not hitting us as much. And the fact we're not getting hit means we're not gaining revenge stacks. So it's a slower clear for Asmo, but Asmo's a very defensive hero as well. His passives give your heroes a lot of protection. So you can see that Betty has that bubble around her. That makes her more likely to stay alive, which is fantastic, because we need Betty to stay alive in those early rounds so that she doesn't die straight away. So even though we're getting a bit of counter synergy between the crowd control, the fact that Asmodel keeps Betty alive means even if we're getting a longer fight, it doesn't really matter because we keep the enemies CC'd for the entire time. So it doesn't matter if the fight takes longer because we've definitely got an engine to clear this. There you go. Asmo gets the damage out. We get that active there from Ailamak, and that is beautiful. More damage for us. Sweet. Okay, next fight here is double Tix, double Delacium, double Forcus. As long as Forcus doesn't get an active skill, we'll be okay. A little bit worried about Delacium and Tix. They both hit really hard. Very bursty heroes. If you've seen the Idle Heroes 10-star cup, you'll know that they're terrifying. In fact, all the heroes here, all their active skills are bad. At least bad to deal with. But they are quite squishy. They're all mages, so I think with another decent active skill, we clear this. Yeah, look at that. We've already done a ton to them. Ailamak putting a few hits out there. Betty triggering one more time. There's Phoenix coming out here. An energy feed from Freya and Halora will mean another active skill for Asmodel. And I'm pretty confident that means the wave is dead. Yep, that Tix is certainly done for. Fantastic. 660 billion damage. All right, 2 more fights left for this area. So what have we got here? More mages. It's Eos. It's Jara. I think there's a HomeXJUMP in here as well. Yeah, Delacium, Flora, Forcus. This is probably an easier clear. I think that Holmes-Young is the only thing that could muck this up. Great crowd control there already from Betty. That's really good. Here comes Alamak, and we're going to see some more energy feed come into the team, which is hopefully going to see a beautiful active skill from Asmodel the Dauntless. Yep, Halora's going to come out there. We get Betty's crowd control as well. Asmo with a massive strike, and I'm hoping to see some huge damage coming up here. There's Phoenix. And yep, even though we're losing our heroes, we've still got the energy feed from our main two there, Freya, Halora, and that's going to be an active from Asmodel, dealing 686 billion damage in total. And the final fight here, double Vulcan, Doom Terminator Vulcan. We've got ourselves a Mystic Fairy Freya, and I think that's an Elena as the last hero on the lineup too. Yeah. But already the CC triggering there. Okay, that Doom Terminator Vulcan, very scary. Got himself an active skill now. Hopefully we can deal good damage to him. This might be one for Aspen if I need to put him in here. But no, we're already doing incredible amounts of damage here. Wow. Okay. That Elena they have, though, is going to help them break free from crowd control, which is a little annoying. But I think with some good energy feed, we should get a massive active skill from Asmodel. Yep, that's brilliant. Now we just need to kill that Doom Terminator Vulcan on the back line. Oh, yeah, there we go. End around damage got him. CC on the Vulcan and on the Vesa. And I think with a good active skill from our Asmodel the Dauntless, we should clean this one up. I mean, we're chipping away at them with our other heroes, and here comes Asmo. And wow, that frontline Vulcan is tanking hard. But there you go, guys. That is 500 billion damage. So as you can see, Chapter 6, a lot easier now, which is good to see. We've got ourselves, wow, another Valkyrie wave. So yeah, I will have to switch out of this team into Vesa and put Taboo Seal on the Asmodel. But yeah, we've got a lot more progress we can potentially do here. So if you want to see the VIP series clear Chapter 6, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I will be bringing you that video soon. But today was more of a way of just you knowing the kinds of things they've changed to the game. It's really a shame what they've done to the Auspicious Lucky Cat. So let me know what you think about that in the comments section. Hopefully the people that invested in it and didn't get those story gems, or just people who've invested in it in general, are given some form of compensation or a chance to swap it and reinvest it for the rewards that they missed. So yeah, unfortunate that they can do this, but that's the nature of the game. The devs can change whatever they like, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just the way it goes. Hopefully you enjoyed today, and yeah, let me know what you think about this update in the comments section. I'll see you next time, guys, and of course, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in. Have an amazing week, and happy idling.